सद्गुरु भगवान की जय, सच्चिदानंद भगवान की जय, कृष्ण परमात्मा की जय, गीता माता की जय। हरि ओम। Today we shall discuss Srimad Bhagavad Gita, 8th discourse, named The Yoga of the Imperishable Brahman. On that we shall discuss in the last chapter, 7th discourse. We have seen what is knowledge and what is experiential knowledge, what is theoretical, informative, symbolic, changeable, ever-growing knowledge, and what is imperishable and always constant, experiential, non-expressible, real, practical knowledge. That we have seen in the last chapter. And in the end of that last chapter, 7th discourse, we saw Lord Krishna was glorifying the state of a yogi who has attained the highest state of existence and who has become one with the Absolute, who has lost his identity in the Absolute Truth. What will be his experiences? How he will look at this world? That was discussed in the last chapter also. So in the end, Lord Krishna said, Sadhi bhutadhi daivam mam, sadhi yagyam chame viduhu, cha ye viduhu, prayana kale pi chamam, te vidur yukta chetasaha. Those who know me with the adhibhuta, pertaining to the elements, adhidaiva, pertaining to the gods, and the adhijagya, pertaining to the sacrifice, know me even at the time of death, steadfast in mind. He has quoted some names, some words which we didn't discuss before it. 3 words of Adi Bhuta, Adi Daiva, and Adi Yajna. And also besides that, Lord Krishna said, who knows me perfectly well, he becomes one with me. He being steadfast in me, he will not forget me at the time of departure from this body. That is called death. That we have discussed yesterday, why he had to point out this point at the time of death. That also we have discussed, because at that time a type of, before death, a type of intense coma state comes to the being. He forgets everything. He goes beyond consciousness. Beyond conscious means unconscious only. He will have no awareness of his whole life. He will forget everything. Such is the pain of the departure from this body, which we have been one with it since birth. We say it is my body is paining, but in practical field we behave as I body. I body. When I call you, Kulkarni Sahib, can you come near me? So your body comes. Your body is your body. It is not you body. No, it is different from you, because you say it is my body. From the inner core of your heart, you know it belongs to me, but I am not this. Just as your cloth, your ear, this is my ear, this is my head. Who said? The teacher said. The small child was learning English. The teacher said the meaning of my head in Hindi, Mera sir, Mera sir. The child thought it is the teacher's head. My head means the teacher's head. He was cramming. My head means teacher's head. My head means teacher's head. The father comes, you fool! Don't you know? My head means my head. In Hindi, Mera sir. Bolo Mera sir. So the boy thought, it is father's head, not teacher's head. In this way he went on. My head means teacher's head, my head means father's head, my head means brother's head, my head means sister's head. So in this way, we are lesser than the children. We say my body, but while behaving with our daily transactions, we behave as I body only. It is not my body, it is I body. We identify ourselves as body. That is the greatest trouble. That is the greatest mistake we do. And of course, we are not 100% responsible for it, because it is since a time immemorial, not from the birth only of this body, but it is since a time immemorial. Whenever the creation started, from that onwards, that time onwards, I means my body, because in the very beginning, very beginning, when the creation starts, how did it start? Eko ham bahusyama. The desire appeared, though it is desire only. It has got no basement, no identity, nothing is there, just a thought which is not dependable on time, space and causations. This is how the ideas, an idea came, just as in the evening sky of autumn, we see in the evening some patches of clouds. Where from it comes? Nowhere from. And after some time it disappears also. It has got no existence at all. So also, our ideas have no basement, no cause for it, no effect of it. It is only an idea. We have so many ideas which come and go, just as passing clouds. Now, since the beginning, just as before, it has got no beginning at all. Just as before, an idea came into the sky of consciousness. I am, and that intensified. The moment it comes I, then it cannot remain as one. It has to move on. Move on means grow on. That means I am one, let me be many. Eko ham bahusyama. Now, from that onwards, the composition of a group started. In Yoga Vasishtha, you don't come to Yoga Vasishtha class.
My Sambandha Vartika is also at the same time.
And
Sambandha Vartika.
we discuss so many points in analytical, logical, elaborate way. So many important points. In Yoga Vasishtha, we used to discuss the moment there is one. If nothing is there, that is one. But it is understood as one. But it is not identified as one. The moment identification is there, so it will have its quality, influence and everything. So it will grow on. It cannot remain as one. This is called nature. Nature means the moment nature is manifested, it has to move on. That's how one cannot remain as one. It has to become many. So in short, the Vedas said, Omkar athas sabdasya dvaveto ramana pura kantham mitva vinirjato tasman mangalika bhuvau. In the very beginning, before creation, just there was two sounds. One was Om, the primordial sound, the monosyllable sound, Om, and then started Atha. Atha means then. Then, that means Om cannot remain as one. The monosyllable has to be multisyllable. This is the nature. the first rule of the nature. One cannot be one. As long as one is not identified, so long one exists as all-pervasive state. But the moment is identified, it has limitations. That's how the limitations will have relationship with the other part of the whole. So, it has to go on multiplying. Yes.
Here, Om identifies with what?
As one something, as sound. When the sound was not manifested, it was not called sound. Just as you are sitting silently. Please sit silent, unmovable. Now, please try to stand up. Try to stand up. Try to stand. Yes, wait. The momentum starts.
Movement, okay.
Momentum, the tendency starts to get up.
Okay.
That means the movement is started.
Action.
Yes. As long as it was silent, absolute silence, one running all over. And the moment there is a identification of sound, then sound has to multiply. The momentum starts. That's how the creation started, from the sound. Yes, sir.
Maharaj, in earlier classes, Swamiji said there is an idea sky,
Ideal sky, yes.
and now sharing the idea of consciousness, peace. So then should understand relatively peace in Akasha.
Of course, the akash, the sky, or ether, or the emptiness, or the vacuum, or the zero, shunya, whatever you say, call it as you like, it has got no identification. But it is. So the moment it is identified, it will have a name and a form. Then only you can identify as something. So that is called the sky, the ether. And that is the beginning of the creation. And that is the original element of the creation, the ether. And from ether originated the air. Air means movement. It cannot keep quiet. It has to move. When the sky moves, it is called air. When there is movement, there will be friction, there will be fire. So it is said in language only, you have to understand. The fire is originated from the air means movement in the sky. And so the sound will be audible. Now, there is a vowel, I was telling about it. The lamas have some vowel. It is made up of some special dhatu, materials. धातु को क्या कहते हैं? Metals. Many metals got together and combined 8 metals or something like that. So they will have a vowel on the hand, and the same material is composed as a stick. Go on moving the stick around. Have you seen it? No. Go on slowly moving around the vowel in the air. There will be friction. There will be friction, subtle friction. So, slowly, after a little time, there will start very subtle sound. Slowly the sound will become more and more audible. When you rotate it speedily, the sound will be audible as Om. We have the Om, that's why we identify as Om. Anything we can identify with that sound. Anything. So it will go on becoming grosser and grosser. It will be so clear to your ears. So this is how the proof there is sound in the ether, in the air, in the fire, in the water, in the earth. There is sound. Besides that, the touch and the form and the taste and the smell, all these are there everywhere, but especially seen in particular elements.
From ether, there is air movement. From the air, friction is generated. Fire. From fire up water, how that generation takes place?
What is water? Do you know the chemical composition?
Oxygen and hydrogen.
That is fire. Oxygen is nothing but fire.
Okay.
And when they combine, they become water in a particular way. This is how the whole five basic elements are created. Now, coming to ideal sky, you have some idea that there is some sky, isn't it? Which gives you some aspect of sky which you think as sky, isn't it? There is no particular shape and size of or name or form of the sky, but the idea sky holds the sky, and that is there in your mind. That is called greater than, subtler than the sky which holds the sky. That is called ideal sky. It is not ether. It is not an element. Yes?
So in that case, should we understand relatively this ideal sky or whatever the below, what we understand as a space, as a distance and everything, it is all held by the akasha, that sky?
No. It is held by the awareness. You are aware that you have some idea of sky. You are aware that you have some idea of sky. That awareness is called consciousness. That is the holder of the ideal sky. That is support of the ideas. That is called sky of consciousness. Chidakas. Chidakas. That is the highest. You are aware of awareness. If you are aware of awareness that has some identity, that becomes I. and then it will go on multiplying. In that way, the creation starts in the very subtle form in the very beginning. The awareness of awareness is identity, that is I, the bigger I, and then it goes on multiplying, accumulating, and forms the fivefold groups, panchak, the first five elements, tanmatras, the yes, they are sabda, sparsa, roop, rasa, gandh, the sound, the touch, the form, and the taste and the smell. They are the subtler measures of subtler parts of the five elements. Sabda when expands, that becomes the sky. It is only idea. There is no expansion, there is no contraction. Only ideas. And when the sound expands, it becomes the sky. When the touch expands, it becomes the air. And when the form expands, that becomes the fire. Because of light only, you see the form. That light is not of fire, it is called fire, but it is knowledge which gives you the knowledge of the form. So it is not fire actually, it is the fire of knowledge. Knowledge is called fire. And that fire burns the whole creation in the end. Jnanagni, dagdha karmani, tamahu panditam buddha. The knowledgeable people, the wise men say, all your actions and reactions, cause and effect, your triads, seer, seen and seeing process, which holds the whole universe, that is burnt out and becomes ashes, loses their identities by the fire of knowledge. Knowledge is called fire. That light, which is the nature of the fire, nature of the knowledge, that subsides, that dissolves all the five groups, all the groups of fives, panchak. Tanmatras, five elements, everywhere, when they get together to create something, in that mixture always five will be there. So that is called group of fives. That is called panchikaran, mixture. The word components. That is how the creation is. And what is creation then? It is only a form and which I have got name. Name and forms are the basic principle of the nature and universe, creation. Anyhow, coming to our point, we shall see all these are forgotten all this knowledge, all your actions, whatever you have done in the whole of your life, everything is forgotten. That means the subconscious mind, chitta, becomes inert. Inert. So, at that time, everything is forgotten. That is the deepest coma at the time of death because of fear of giving up this body and getting separated. That is the fear. Because whole life, not only in this life, since the starting of the creation, we have been identifying ourselves with the body. Let it be human body or any body, animals, gods or insects or plants, any body, any kind of body is I. So, I is always identified with the body. So that sense is so closely attached, that is called attachment. That attachment is not so easy to get rid of.
Bondage.
That is called bondage. And if it is separated, of course at the time of separation from this gross body, you are also identifying yourself with the subtle body. That is also a group. Subtle body. That is made up of eightfold aspects, or the carrying body which holds the subconscious mind within it, which has all the impressions, subtle impressions, memories of so many births, which is never destroyed. In that way, that identification of the body, it of course continues, but we have the idea that I am the gross body generally in the gross world. Gross world, we have the identification with the gross body. When I said, Kulkarni ji, come near me, the subtle body is not coming. Of course, subtle body is also there with the gross body, but the gross body is visible. So both are coming. It is not Kulkarni. It is the body only made up of flesh and bone. And it has got some relationship with some sound for identification and daily transaction, relationships. That's how the name belongs to the form. Only for relationship. In this way, the last moment we feel so much afraid of departure from this gross body. That's how, out of fear, have you seen, if you do some terrific activities before a small child, he will close his eyes and sit like this. Why? Because of fear. I don't want to see it. It keeps quiet. It covers up its body. I don't want to see. So the fear makes so much inactive that it goes to the coma. That is the cause of coma, which we call in Sanskrit murcha. Murcha. It is still deeper than coma. In coma, you have the chance to come back. In murcha, there is no chance. The last departure. That's how we have seen the last chapter, and Lord pointed out the last part of the life, how one remembers, doesn't forget Lord at the time of departure from this body, at the time of death. So now in 8th discourse, Arjuna has doubt. He asks, Kim tad brahma kimadhyatvam kim karma purushottama adhibhutam cha kim proktam adhidaivam kimuchyate. I have doubt, my Lord. All these words you uttered in now, I have doubts over it. Please clarify all these doubts. Still more doubts he has. In the next stanza, he says, Adhijagyaha katham. How is Adhijagya? Katham kotra. Where is it? Dehesmin Madhusudana. O Lord, the killer of the Madhu demon. Dehesmin Madhusudana prayana kale cha katham jnayavasi niyatatmabhi. How the steadfast-minded person who is ever steadfast in the mind, who never forgets you, even for a moment, how he holds you at that juncture of departure from this body to the subtler realms. How is it possible? All these questions are put by Arjuna. The first few questions, Kim tad Brahma? What is that Brahman? Kimadhyatvam? What is that Adhyatma? Kim karma? What is action? O best among the men, Purushottama, because you alone is able to clarify all these doubts. These doubts cannot be clarified by ordinary persons. These are concerned with the highest entity. What is declared to be Adhibhuta and what is Adhidaiva said to be? So can you explain me all this? Adhijagyaha katham kotra? Yes. Who and how is Adhijagya here in this body? Dehesmin Madhusudana prayana kale cha katham gyamasi niyatatmabhi. O destroyer of Madhu, O Krishna, and how at the time of death art thou to be known by the self-controlled person? How does he not forget you? The first we shall see in the last two verses of the 7th chapter. Lord Krishna had used certain philosophical and technical terms such as Adhi Atma, Adhibhuta, Adhidaiva and Adhiyajna. Arjuna doesn't understand the meaning of these terms. So he proceeds to ask the Lord the above questions for their elucidation. Lord Krishna gives the answers succinctly to the above questions in their order, one after the other, in sequence. Some treat this chapter as a Abhyasa Yoga, name of the chapter. We have named it Akshara Brahma Yoga. We will deal with the imperishable truth. But some say this chapter is called Abhyasa Yoga because in this chapter, verses 7, 8, 10, 12, 13, 14 deal with spiritual practices, how to understand what and how to bring it to your practical day-to-day relative life. Treats of karma and bhakti yoga combined with giving the hands to the service of humanity or society and the fixing the mind on the Lord. Verse 8 deals with Abhyasa Yoga. Verse 10, 12 and 13 treat of Hatha Yoga, how to raise the life force to the Ajna Chakra and the Sahasrar and the Brahmarandhra. Verse 14 treats of the Iji Yoga of constant remembrance, constant namasmaran or remembering of the names of the Lord constantly. This alone will help the spiritual aspirants to approach the Lord easily. The nature of Brahman, the individual self, Adhyatma, the nature of action, the nature of the objective universe or phenomena, Adhibhuta, knowledge of the shining ones, Adhideva, and the secret of sacrifice, Adhijagya, are described in the discourse. The perfect sage will have perfect knowledge. He will have perfect knowledge of not only the manifested Brahman, but also the transcendental Brahman and the why of the universe, etc. Why of the universe? Yes. Why? Why is this universe? Some children joke among themselves. Don't ask why. The other says, why? When one says, don't ask why, the other says, why? Why not? So the first one says, because of asking why, Indira Gandhi died. Our prior Prime Minister. Why? That's why she died. You know what is the story? She attacked Bangladesh, our previous Pakistan. One part was West Pakistan, other part was East Pakistan. So she thought, as a political leader, if they will be separated, then they cannot have communication, and we are in between. So we will be safe. That is political attitude. She started attacking the eastern Pakistan, and people forbade him, or don't do so. It will start the world war. It will be a cause for world war. So she said, why not? Why not shall I start this? I am not afraid of anyone. So she started. She didn't hear anyone. And she took all the serious steps against this. Why? And in the end, people could not bear it, so they killed her. Out of why she was killed. Now here, the why on the creation, it is unanswered. Why? Why? Because you are putting the question why on that which is not there.
Illusory why.
Yes, which is not at all there. There is no creation. You have assumed it as the creation. Only you are dreaming. Just as your dreams are not real, you never ask why on the dreams. Why did I dream like this? Did you ever ask? Did you ask such question to anyone who dreams? Everyone dreams. This question is unsolvable because you are asking question on which is not there.
Non-existence.
Non-existence. So it is called ati prashna, it is called the limit of question. Don't ask such question. The world is not existing and you are putting why the creation started, how did it start. All these answers are not to be believed. And if something is answered to your question, that is also wrong. So question was wrong, so the answer will be wrong. So everything will be wrong. Go on playing with things which is not there. Build castles in the air and live there. You will enjoy. This is how this question why is never put. Of course, relatively what we do, it is within the darkness. Within the darkness. Within darkness, anything can be done. That's why it is said, Mayayam Sarvasambhav. You are searching your torch in darkness. So, when you got up from the bed, you are searching for the torchlight to see something, to find out where is the needle. You can touch anything and everything in darkness to search for the torch. Nothing will come to your hand as torch.
Maya matram idam dvaitam.
Yes. So, the moment you get the torch, there is no searching. No searching. Everything is clear to you. So don't search, you will get. Don't try to find out, you will get. And your torch is within yourself. So tomorrow we shall see the next chapter and next verse, Adhijagyam. Of course, all these we shall see tomorrow again, how this Brahman, Adhyatma and Adhibhut, Adhidaiva and Karma in this stanza and in the next stanza Adhijagya and unforgetfulness at the time of death. Unforgetfulness for him who is steadfast in his mind. He never forgets God. Whereas others forget God. Not only God, everything is forgotten. So tomorrow we shall see elaborately. Hari Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sadguru Bhagavan ki jai. Satchidananda Bhagavan ki jai. Sabda Brahma ki jai. Krishna Bhagavan ki jai. Gita Mata ki jai.